Hey there. So you're moving to S/4HANA and you keep hearing about Fiori. You know it's the future? But how on earth do you secure it? Well, you've come to the right place. In the next few minutes, we're going to demystify Fiori authorizations and give you the absolute core concepts you need to get this right from day one. Here's what we've got on tap. We'll kick things off with why Fiori is such a big deal now. Then we'll take a quick spin around the Fiori launchpad. After that, we're going to unpack the single most important concept, the difference between catalogs and groups. Then we'll peek under the hood at the architecture and wrap up with the tools you'll need to actually get the job done.
All right, first things first, why are we even talking about Fiori? I mean, what was wrong with the old way? To really get a handle on its authorizations, you first have to understand that Fiori is way more than just a pretty new interface. It's a whole new way of thinking about the user experience in S/4HANA. See, S/4HANA isn't just a simple upgrade. It's designed to massively simplify how business gets done. Think about the old way. Registering a single invoice could be a real headache, right? You'd have to jump between the MM and FI modules, remember a bunch of different transaction codes. It was a mess. The new S/4HANA way just smooths all that out. It takes that whole complicated process and turns it into one streamlined solution. And Fiori? Fiori is the clean, modern face of that new simplicity. And here's the real kicker. Using Fiori isn't always a choice. As SAP keeps improving S/4HANA, a lot of the brand new and even updated functions are being built only for Fiori. So if you want to use the latest and greatest that S/4HANA has to offer, well, you don't really have an option. You've got to embrace the Fiori experience. So what does this new world actually look like for a user? Let's get to know the Fiori Launchpad. You can think of this as mission control or the new homepage for every single person using the system. The Launchpad basically has 4 key areas. You've got the homepage, which is your main dashboard. Think of it just like the home screen on your smartphone, with all your favorite apps right there as tiles. Then there's the App Finder, which is like the App Store for your phone. It's the complete library of every single app you're allowed to use. The Me area is for all your personal settings, and the Notification area is where things like workflows and approvals pop up. It's all designed to be super intuitive. Okay, deep breath. If you only remember one single thing from this whole explainer, please make it this next part. Understanding the difference between catalogs and groups is the absolute, undisputed key to Fiori authorizations. I'm serious. If you get this, you are 90% of the way home. First up, we have the catalog. A catalog is what actually gives a user the permission to use an app. It's the authorization. Let's use an analogy. If the Fiori app is a car, the catalog is the car key. Simple as that. No key, no starting the engine. Period. And then we have the group. A group has nothing to do with authorization. It's purely about display. It just controls which apps show up on the user's homepage. So if the catalog is the car key, the group is just the nice, reserved parking spot right in front of your house. It makes the car easy to find, sure, but the parking spot itself doesn't give you permission to drive. So let's see how they work together. Imagine we give a user a Sales Manager catalog. Inside that catalog are 6 different Fiori apps. So that user now has the authorization for all 6 of them. They have 6 car keys. But then we assign them a couple of groups that only put 4 of those apps on their homepage. So what happens to the other 2? Are they gone? Nope. The user is still fully authorized to use them. They just have to go to the App Finder to launch them. And that is the absolute core takeaway. Authorization comes from the catalog. What you see on the homepage comes from the group. Okay, now that we've nailed that core concept, let's geek out for a second and look at the technical architecture that makes all this happen. We're going to focus on the 2 main servers involved. First, you've got the front-end server. This server is all about the user interface, the look and feel. It runs the Fiori Launchpad itself. And from an authorization perspective, its main job is to ask one simple question. Can this user even see and launch this app tile? Then, you have the backend server. This is the powerhouse where all the business logic and your company's data actually live. So once the user clicks a tile and launches an app, the backend server wakes up and asks a totally different question. Okay, you're in the door, but what are you actually allowed to do in here? Can you change the sales order? Can you view data for that company code? This table really breaks it down perfectly. The front-end server's purpose is all about visibility and the user interface. Its key question is, can they launch the app? The backend server is all about the business logic and data. Its question is, what can they do inside the app?
And technically, this is all managed by something called OData services. The front-end role gives access to the gateway service, or IWSG, which is like the bouncer at the front door. The back-end role gives access to the service itself, or IWSV, which dictates what you can do once you're inside the club.
So the concepts are making sense, right? But how do you actually find all the technical information you need to build these roles? Let's talk about the most essential tool in your new Fiori toolkit. But first, let's just appreciate the scale of what we're dealing with. We're not talking about a few dozen new apps here. SAP has released, get this, more than 12,000 Fiori apps. There's no way anyone can know them all, which is exactly why you need a guide. And that guide is the Fiori Apps Library. This website is your single source of truth, your holy grail for Fiori security. It tells you everything, which technical catalogs you need, what the OData services are, implementation details, the whole shebang. Seriously, your first step in any Fiori security project shouldn't be to jump into the system. It should be right here. It will save you hours and hours of guesswork. And hey, here's a quick but absolutely critical pro tip. SAP delivers all those standard technical catalogs, right? It's tempting to just assign those directly to your roles. Don't do it. The best practice is to always copy the standard SAP catalogs into your own custom Z-named catalogs. This gives you complete control and, most importantly, prevents SAP upgrades from accidentally overwriting all your hard work. Finally, just know that this world is constantly evolving. To help users who might have dozens and dozens of apps, SAP is already starting to move away from the simple group concept to a more structured and organized model called spaces and pages. You can think of it like going from a super cluttered desktop to neatly organized folders. The core authorization ideas we talked about are still the same, but the way apps are presented to the user just keeps getting better. And that really brings us to the big takeaway. This whole evolution, from complicated transaction codes to simple apps, and now from basic groups to structured spaces, it shows one very clear trend. The user experience is now driving the technical and security design. It's not the other way around anymore. So the real question to leave you with is this. As everything continues to be redesigned to put the user first, how will your security strategy adapt to secure that future?